What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And let me just say that Detroit Lions have had a lot of controversy surrounding Matt Patricia and Darius Slay and just a lot of other things in general very recently. But we all know the way to fix that is to win football games. So in this video, we'll be talking about a player that the Lions have brought in that believes the Detroit Lions are going to start winning right now. Let's get that thing started. So as we all know, the Detroit Lions are coming off of two, not good seasons, right? 6-10 season to start off, coming off of a 9-7 season in Matt Patricia's first season, and then Matt Patricia's second year, 3-12-1. Now we do know that half the season Matthew Stafford missed. However, we also know that the Detroit Lions were really bad in pretty much every facet when it came to the defensive side of the ball. They were just very, very bad. We knew they weren't going to go very far. They may have won like 7 games or something, and Matthew Stafford was healthy the whole season. We understand that, but we know the season just haven't been good, right? We have not lived up to the hype. 9-7 wasn't good enough. We know there's been a lot of controversy with Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn moving on from Darius Slay. Darius Slay, then when he left, he called out Matt Patricia, and it was just kind of a mess. And other players were stepping out saying, yeah, Matt Patricia, I don't like him. So people are picking sides now. All of a sudden, everybody's picking sides on Matt Patricia and Darius Slay. Even before this, people were picking sides because Matt Patricia was not winning with the Detroit Lions. When you're not winning, problems happen. Everybody's not very happy when you're not winning football games. Okay, a lot of things can be covered up by winning football games. And now there's a whole bunch of talk about, well, Matt Patricia's too hard on his players, but he can be too hard on his players because it works with Bill Belichick. But then they say, well, Matt Patricia's not Bill Belichick, and then they talk about how Bill Belichick didn't have success early. Then they say, well, it doesn't matter because, he doesn't have success, he hasn't won a locker room. I don't know. I don't want to get into any of that, even though I just kind of did. Don't really want to get into, what's right or wrong there. I believe it boils down to the fact that, yes, Matt Patricia needs to win some football games. I think he can win football games. I think different coaching styles and methods work. I just think it really comes down to the players that you have around that. Do you have players that want to be coached a certain way? Everybody wants to be coached a different way, and some people, react to different things. Some people react to it laid back, a friendly type of coaching, and they actually play better than that. I understand that. There are also some players that want to be yelled at, that want to be pointed out and everything they do wrong, and that's how they react, and they come back with some fire and some passion after that. Some players are, coached differently, and apparently with the Matt Patricia and Darius Slay situation, it just didn't work out right. But now, moving on from Darius Slay, the Detroit Lions are now heading into their third season with Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia has a lot on the line. Not only him, but also Bob Quinn, who's been here for a few more years than Matt Patricia, and the Detroit Lions really haven't been successful under him, and they've kind of just gotten worse since that both of these guys have really taken over. So now that the pressure is on in year number 3, there is a big need for the Detroit Lions to find a way to get some wins. And we know last season, Detroit Lions were in multiple games. There were statistics out there that Detroit Lions led in almost every single one of their games. The problem was the Detroit Lions just could not find a way at the end. They led every game in the fourth quarter, 12 or 16 or even more than that possibly. But the Detroit Lions just could not find a way to close out those games. And now bringing in some of the veterans that we did from Patriots ties, Detroit Lions may be believing that those guys are going to be able to close the games and potentially get us through some of those hardships that we faced last year when we had games in grasp. We just couldn't find a way to close them out. There's multiple examples to look at, such as the Chiefs game, such as the Raiders game, even though that was an offensive thing. There were just multiple games to look at where we had it and then we just couldn't find a way to close it out. I mean, there were a few games early where we did, like the Philadelphia Eagles, but that was really it. It just kind of went downhill from there, and then Matthew Stafford got hurt and it just got ugly. It just got really, really ugly. But the Detroit Lions decided to bring in some veterans with Patriot ties. And again, I have no problems bringing in Patriot players. At the end of the day, these players are talented, and you need guys that want to be coached a certain way. So Matt Patricia brought in his guys. I'm cool with that. We just need to win football games, right? Well, Jamie Collins talked about the Detroit Lions a little bit, and he said this: "We definitely about to start winning now." That was a quote by Jamie Collins when he was talked about coming into the Detroit Lions. He said, "When it boils down to it, it's always 1 or 2 plays that make a difference in the game," Collins said. "And I just feel like me being a veteran now, I can bring some professional little things that can get us over the top, and I'm definitely up for the challenge." And veterans are super important. The Detroit Lions, like I said, last year just couldn't find a way to close the game. They didn't really have a closer defensively. We know Matthew Stafford has been known to close games because he just has tons of comebacks, but defensively it was kind of the opposite. We couldn't close games on the defensive end of things, and we just didn't have guys that could seem to be able to close the deal. We had a lot of young players, which is cool. We got them some opportunities to play, especially later in the season when we were really struggling. But now in the next season, knowing that you have to win, that's awesome and all, and those guys are going to be great for depth, and, they're going to be good players, but you need a few guys, like Jamie Collins says, that can find a way to close the deal. Not only did the Lions add Jamie Collins, but they also added a guy named Duron Harmon, who is known as a closer. They added Danny Shelton, who is another player with Patriot ties, who's only 26 years old and one of the best interior defensive linemen. They added Desmond Trufant, who's known for just being a complete ball hawk at the cornerback position, kind of replaced Darius Slay. They have guys that are known to close out football games, and the Detroit Lions are hoping that these moves that they made can be the guys that aren't the most flashy, but guys that can get them over the top, because I think the Lions believe they're a lot closer than other people do. If you simply look at the record, it makes it look like they were awful. However, when you take into mind that Detroit Lions had an awful defense, Matthew Stafford missed half the season, and yet they were still up in almost every single game, it's pretty remarkable that that was actually the case. So the Detroit Lions are close. They were very close at least last season. And Detroit Lions believe a few of these moves can get them over the top, and I definitely hope they can. Jamie Collins also said this: "Me and Matty P, we got a little bit of history behind us," said Collins, who played for the Patriots when Patricia was a coordinator back in 2013 through 2016. He said, "I think Detroit, the Lions, they're an up-and-coming team." That's awesome. I love to hear that. They always been in the running. It's a player 2 or 3 away from doing big things. So I feel like I can help them with that. And whatever role they put me in, I'm always going to go in and do my job. So whatever role that may be, I'm willing to take it over. Whatever. Added players that they believe that could possibly close games, which is very important. The Lions are definitely getting a smart, head-on, straight, down-to-earth, fun winner because we're definitely about to start winning right now. And that's the quote that Jamie Collins left us with. And that's something that I think a lot of Lions fans are hopeful, and they love to hear that, but at the same time, most Lions fans just want to see that result. So for Matt Patricia's sake and Bob Quinn's sake, hopefully the Detroit Lions can find a way to tie some wins together next season. But until then, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Winning solves not everything, but it solves a lot of things. So we'll see if the Lions can make it happen. Let's hope they do. Let me hear your thoughts, comments below. Thank you, Brad, for watching, and I'm out.